Hello everyone, welcome to my React.js Day 5 tutorial. Today is Day 5 of React.js tutorial. So we'll learn some new concepts from React.js. We almost cover all the concepts in React.js. Today we will connect our React.js application to the real-time database, the Firebase. So Firebase is a real-time database where today we'll store our application related data, the state related data in the Firebase. It is a real-time database. Okay, so first of all we'll see how we can connect our application to the Firebase and how we can store the data in the Firebase. What needs to be done to configure Firebase to our React.js application. Okay, so the first step is go to this URL firebase.google.com. It will open this page. See here you will get a login option here, so you have to log in with your Google email ID. Once you log in, you will go to console option, click on that. Okay, so you can see in this I have added two projects. One is Photowall project and another is NG Fitness Tracker project. This is an Angular project and this is we have developed in React.js. So like if you want to add a new project, what you have to do, click on this add project. Okay, here you will have to give the project name and click on the continue. So whatever the step they will say, just fill up the data. So let me do also for you. So I will give a project name as test project for our testing perspective. So once you give the project, you will get a ID corresponding to your project. Click on the continue button. Okay, so here you can see it is asking whether we want to integrate Google Analytics for our Firebase project. So if you want, you can click on continue or you can disable and click on the continue button. Then your project will be created. So after this you will get a dashboard of Firebase. So dashboard is just like this. Let me close this. So you will get this kind of dashboard where you will get authentication, database, authentication purposes, database storing it, and other features also. So our main concern is with the database. We won't learn authentication here. So we learn how we can connect our application to the Firebase database. Okay. So if I will click on the database, this is my database. If you see in a moment. Okay. So if you see in Firebase is a NoSQL database. Means everything is stored in this database in this form of a node. And you can consider a node as an object also. You can visualize a node as an object. Okay. So this is my root node, the project node, the project identifier that is being created while adding our project to the Firebase. So this is our root node, the project node. Then we have two states. If you have followed up to day 4 video of my React.js tutorial, you could able to understand. In our application there are two states. One comment state, another is post state. Post state contains array of images and description. So that we are showing in our application. So okay, this is the post array. Okay, containing array of images and description. So this is a post state. Then we have a comment state. Comment state means, let me go to the application again. Click on this comment. This is the comment state. So we can provide the comment for our images. Okay. So we have two states. Post is an array of object and comment is an object in which properties are ID and ID of the images, and for each ID we have an array of comments. We have a list of comments. Okay. So first let me open this post, expand this one. So if you see, these are the ID of my photos, my images. Okay, so everything is in the form of object. So we can consider post is now an object. It's a node, so now it is an object. These are the key of the object. These keys are the photo ID. So we can say photo1 is our root node, and in that root node we have two child nodes, comments and post. So in the post child node we have other child node also, which are the ID of the photo, ID of the post. If we expand for this node, these are the values. Okay, so we can consider post is an object. These are the three keys, and for each key you will find the value, the information related to that post ID. Okay, then let me close this. In the comment section, in comment section also you will find the ID. Let me explain post also. So if you see this ID corresponding to this one, so we have a post ID of ending in 60 and a post ID of ending in 22. So for these two posts we have provided some comments. So if you see this post having 2 comments and this post having 1 comment. For the last one we don't have any comment. So we have provided comment for the 2 posts. That's why these are the ID of the post for which we have provided the comments. Okay, then we will expand. So if you see, this is the comment, 1 comment for the post ending, for the post having ID 60, this one for the alien post. So it's amazing alien. We have provided 1 comment. This is a key and this is a value. So this is a key which is being randomly generated by the Firebase. Then we'll expand. For the second photo we have 2 comments. We can consider comments as an object. These are the ID corresponding to the photo ID, and this ID having an array of comments. So for this ID we have 2 comments, and this key are auto generated by the Firebase. Okay, so in this way, like, the data gets stored in the Firebase. So if you ask me how I have stored the data in this Firebase, so you have 2 options. One is, go here, you can do import JSON. If you have a JSON file, Excel file having the data, so you can click on this and you can import your data. Everything get loaded here. That also you can do. But in my case, we have less data. So what I have done, I have gone to my application. If you have followed my videos, the previous video you have seen, there is one page, add photo. Here I have added the link and added the description, and it gets added to the database directly. So in this way I entered the data for our database. So for example, if you see, only there are 3 posts. Okay, so let me add a new post. So in the application also you will see only 3 photos are displayed. So let me add another post, and so this one I will choose. Then I will choose, let it be flower. Okay, click on this. This is the URL that I have taken from the Google. Okay, so I will take some URL. So I will type the flower images. I will take a beautiful flower image so that our website looks good. Okay. So let me just do it in. So I will take which one? This flower. Let it be. Okay. So image, copy the image address. I have copied the image address. Paste it in here. Whatever I have pasted, just remove it. So paste the image URL here. Give some description. Okay. Small URL. Maybe, yeah. Okay. So let's click on that. It will add a record. If you see, now our page get refreshed. We are getting this flower in our application. If you go to the Firebase, it's amazing. We have new record added. This flower description. Okay. The description is flower. ID means as per our current date. Image link is that we have pasted. Okay. This is how I have entered the data for my Firebase. Okay. So let's see how we can, after you have created your, after you have added the photo in the Firebase, the next thing will be how you can configure your Firebase to your application. After configuration only, this add photo and this reflecting kind of things will appear. Okay, so we'll see how we can add it. Okay, for adding it, what we have to do, click on the project overview. So in the meantime, what you have to do, just install these two things. npm install Firebase of version 4.8.2 and Redux Chunk version of 2.2.0 Redux Chunk. Okay, these two commands you have to execute in your Node.js command prompt. Why Redux Chunk is needed, I will let you know, and Firebase you know why it is needed. Okay, so you know how to install it. Just install it. After installation, you can verify whether that has been installed or not. How we can verify? We can go to the package.json file. Okay, up to this we know, everyone knows what to do. So here is Redux Chunk is installed. Okay, and Firebase of version 4.8.2 also installed. So this is like for the confirmation whether our npm install executed successfully or not, whether it is being installed or not. Okay, right. So let me close it. Okay. So what next? So for configuring your project with the Firebase, what you have to do, just click on here. Okay. So you will get this kind of configuration for your project. Okay, so this configuration that we need, so that our project will point to the Firebase database. This configuration. For that, what we have done, I had made a folder named as database. Expand that folder. You will get one file config.js for configuring the Firebase in our application. So whatever it is present here, I copied it as it is. Okay, you can say you have to copy up to this and paste it here. Okay, I have done up to this. And you have to import all the export functions from the Firebase. I am exporting all the export functions from the Firebase using asterisk operator. Then what we have to do, Firebase.initialize app, then the variable, whatever the variable you have named, you have put here. Then we have to create a database connection, Firebase.database, we will get a database object and we will export that database object. Okay, this is for the configuration, how we can get access to the Firebase, the database of the Firebase. Okay, so let me close it. So once you configure our application to the Firebase database, then the next thing is we should go to the index.js page. Okay. So in the index.js page, what you have to do, you have to import Redux Chunk. Import Redux Chunk. Okay. So why it is needed? So Redux Chunk is needed. It serves as a middleware between the action and reducer. Between this action and reducer. If you followed my previous video, you know reducer is a function through which we can only change the state stored in the store. So now as we are connecting to the real-time database, the process should be changed a little bit. First of all, we need to do all kind of operation in the database first, then we will update the store. Okay, for example, on page load, we have to fetch the data from the database, then we have to store that in a store. Earlier we are taking some hard-coded post data. So here now we will fetch the data from the database. After fetching, we will fire an event to store the post or comment in the store location so that our application will access it. If you have to remove any photo, if you have to update any comment, if you have to add any comment, everything should be done in the database first, then the action get fired, that action get being evaluated by the reducer, and then store get updated. So first we have to do to the database all kind of operation. Once database operation gets successful, then after that we will fire an action for updating our state in the store. So this can be done by using Redux Chunks. So it serves as a middleware between the action and reducer. So we will see what is that middleware. So you have to do like this: apply middleware, then you have to provide the argument chunk. And apply middleware also you have to import. Here you have to import apply middleware from Redux. Okay. So this is the only change in the index.js file. We need Redux Chunks for, you can say we need Redux Chunks for our Ajax call also. Okay, we'll see what does that mean. Then just remember Redux Chunks is a middleware between action and reducer. Okay. So now I will go to the next step, will be the see what is the use of Redux Chunks. So we'll go to the action file. Here we have to import the database from database config file. The config file that we have created here. Okay, this is the config file. I will open it again. In config file we have export database. It's a named export. It is not a default export. So same thing, we have to import also database from database config folder, config file. Now up to day 4 video you have seen the action creator creates the action. Means it will return an object having type and payload. But now onwards we will see the action creator will return a function, and in that function we will modify will do all our Ajax call, and after that we will dispatch the action. So this is where. So let's start with how we can fetch the post data from the application. For fetching the post data, what we have to do? Export function. Export function. Then this is the function name. Start loading post. Any name you can give. So it's a means this is only possible with the use of Redux Chunks. That's why we have to install npm install Redux Chunks. Okay. Then this is a function returning a arrow function. This is the arrow function which is returning. This arrow function has a parameter dispatch. Within this arrow function, what we have to do? We have to do our Ajax call. Whatever is the database, whether it's a MongoDB or the Firebase, whatever it might be, we have to do the Ajax call in this way. So for the Firebase, doing the Ajax call is like this way: database. So this database also we have to import here, right? Database.ref post, because we need to update the post node. The post node that is present in our Firebase. Okay, let me go to the database again. So here we need to fetch the data from the post node. So post, whatever the name we have given, same name we have to give here. Return database.ref post dot once. It will fetch all the post data once. We need the post data values. Okay, so this will return all these records within the post node in the form of a promise. Then we have to, when it is successful, we have to subscribe to that promise by using the then operator. Here we will get a parameter snapshot. It contains all array of these nodes within the post node. Then we have to iterate by using the for each node. We will get each node here, the child snapshot. Then here we have an array. I have created my local array. In which we are pushing child snapshot dot value. So you can consider this is a child snapshot. This is the key, and if you give dot value, we will get the value for this key. So we need this value to be stored in the array, because post is an array of objects. Okay, and these are all objects having key value pair. So likewise, we populated our array with array of objects. In this way, up to this, we fetch the data from the database. Okay. Then the next is we have to dispatch our load post action, so that this will update our store with the post array that we have fetched. Earlier what we are doing, earlier we have some hard coded, so let me close this config so that it will open up. Earlier up to day 4 we have hard coded value for this post. Here we have specified an array of objects, hard coded array of objects. Now onwards we are fetching from the database. Okay. So once we get the data, we have to dispatch the load post action, in which we provide the array of objects. Okay. If you see, there is a catch operator for the promise. So if this promise executed successfully, then the then block will get executed. If then get failed, then catch block will get executed. It's a promise concept. It's a JavaScript concept. Okay. Then we'll see the load post action. So it's a new action that we have created. So it's same as ELR action. Export function action creator, which return an action which is an object having type load post, and this is the post parameter, the array of object that we have created. So once this action get dispatched, what is next? The next is it will go to the reducer. Okay. In the reducer, if you see, we have load post case for the post state, in which we are returning, we are updating the store with the array of objects that we have received from the store. So if you see, initially the post state will be an empty array, because we have removed everything from this post.js file. So once that action gets triggered, the store gets loaded with the array of objects that we have fetched from the database. Okay. Then main.js file. We will go to the main.js file. So let's go to the action.js again. If you see, it's a start loading post. It's a function which is returning a function having a parameter dispatch. This function, this action creator, we need to call somewhere. Where we will call? We will call in the main component, because it will fetch the data related to the post, and it will also updating the store with the post array that is received from the database. So we need to fire it somewhere. We need to call it somewhere. In the main.js, the best place, for the component, we always do our Ajax call any database operation in the component read mount function, lifecycle function of the component. So here we are doing this dot props dot start loading post. So this will call this action creator. Okay, start loading post, which is used for fetching the data from the post and updating the store using the load post action. Okay. So here why we have written this one, we will come to that later. Just remember, this is what we need to call that action creator. Okay. Then we'll see how we can add the post. What we have done for adding the post. Adding the post is understood. This is means how this works. On click of the post button, we are adding the post to the database. How this is working now. So for that same thing, because if we are adding a post means we are doing insertion into the database, we are creating a new post. So that's why we have to first insert into the database, then we have to update our store with the new post. So once this start loading post executed, so let's suppose there are only 3 posts available in the database. So now our store is having 3 posts. Now I want to add another post. Here I will provide the link and description. On click of post, it will add one more post. So now finally we have 4 posts in my database under the post node. So here it is the function, same way, same story. Function, some name. We have to update the post node with a new post object. So this is the post object. Then it's the function returning an arrow function having a parameter dispatch. Then here we are returning the promise. We are doing the Ajax call database.trace.post, because we have to add a data under the post node. We have to update the post node. Then we have to call dot update. These are all Firebase operations. Okay. Dot update. Then if you see from the database structure, so in post there are child nodes. The ID of the post, which are the child node for the post, and each child node has description about the post, information about the post. So we have to update. How we will update will provide, it's an object. So we have to add a new node, right? We have to add a new node in which each node is an object having property as ID and value as information related to the post. So here it's an object. We have to provide an object in which the property is post.id, then value is post object. The object having description, link, all those kind of stuff. Okay. Then if success, then will be executed. So in the then function we will dispatch our actual action, the action which is required to update the store, because here we have updated the database. So now the database has 4 posts. But the store having 3 posts. We need to update the store also. So we are updating store by using dispatching the add post action. And add post is my old action that we have created in day 4. We will again revisit that. It's the add post having a type of add post, and payload is post, the post object that we have created. Then this will be handled by the reducer. The add post, it will add a new object within that array of objects, new post within that array, and it will update the store, post state in the store. Okay. So we'll go to the photo. So if you see, we have to call that function, the start adding post somewhere, so that our database get updated and store also get updated. So where we should call? Just rethink. Yeah, I know you got it right. We need to call this function on click of post button, this post button, because on click of post button we need to data to be inserted in the database and store to be updated. So we will go to the photo component. Sorry, not this one. We have add photo component. So add photo component also we have created in the day 4. So if you see, in add photo component we will again revisit. There is a form having a submit method. On click of post button, this submit method is called handle submit method. In handle submit method, what we are doing, we are extracting the user entered values from the form. Then we are creating an object, post object having ID corresponding to our current date and description whatever the user has entered, and image link whatever the image link user has entered. If both the field having some values, if user has entered value for both the fields, then only what we have to do, we have to call that start adding post action. On click of post button, the start adding post action is being called. Okay, with a parameter, not this one, with a parameter post object that we have created here. Then once we added the post, we have to navigate back to the parent screen. That's why for parent screen path is empty path, as you know. Okay, this is a minor change. Earlier we don't have any database connection. That's why we have to update the store directly. So for updating the store, we have written prof.add_post. We are calling the add post action directly. But now we have database, so we have to update the database. Then we will call the add post action. So this is the one line of change in this component. Okay. So let me close this. Okay. So let me back to my main screen. And if you see, we have a remove button also. On click of remove button, we need to remove the photo from our screen. We need to delete the data from the database, remove the data from the database. Currently, if you see, there are 4 nodes, 4 data for the post node. Okay, we will see the delete option, the remove option. We will find the remove option in the photo component. So if you see, this is the remove button. On click of remove button, we are calling start removing post action, in which we are providing the index of the photo whichever the user has clicked and the ID of that photo. Okay, so we'll go to where we have to go. We have to go to the action.js. We'll see what is this start removing post. So we'll scroll down. We'll see this is a start removing post. It's also being created using the Redux term. So it's a function, returning a arrow function, having a destruct parameter. Then we are doing the Ajax operation here, database.ref. We have to remove the data from the post and whichever ID. So it means each photo having an ID, right? So whichever ID we have to remove, we have to go to that ID by using this one. Okay. So it will go to the post, that selected ID, the corresponding child node within the post. Then we will have to call the remove. This will delete the node from the Firebase. This is all Firebase function. Okay. Then if it is executed, then our promise get called. Then here we are dispatching our remove post action for updating the store. Now our store has 4 photos. On remove, our database also means before remove, database is also having 4 photos and store is also having 4 photos. Once this remove is executed, our 1 photo gets deleted. So the database is now having 3 photos. We need to update the store also. For updating the store, we have to trigger remove post action. So that store should be having 3 photos. So remove post is a action that we have created earlier in day 4. Remove post, then it's an object having a type remove post and index. The index of the photo that user wants to remove. It will go to the reducer, we will revisit that again. It's a remove post. We are removing that post from the state, which is an array of object, using the slice method. Okay. So this is how we can remove a post. So we'll see in action also. Let's see. So before that, we'll see in the database we have 4 values. We want to remove this node, the node having ID ending in 74. So this is the node, this is that node. Let me remove it. Click on the remove button. It gets removed. We'll go to the photo wall. We'll see only 3 images are there. So let me go to the date tool also to see what are the action that is being triggered. What is the current state of the store. Okay. We'll go to our Redux step tool. Okay, it will be loaded. If you see, on click of remove button, remove post action is called. It update our store. Now we'll see the state of the store. Now the store is having 3 photos: vacation photos, alien photos, and beautiful landscape photos. Okay, only 3 photos. Okay, and remove action is called. When we have added a new photo, the flower photo that we have added during the starting, then the add post action get called. That's why it's added a flower state which was present earlier. I remove for removing that flower state. Okay, this is not present now. And this load post the action, it will be called every time when you load our page or do any operations. Let me reload the page, because on loading component mount is get called. That's why our load post action get triggered, because in the main component we have a component did mount and we are calling the loading post. The loading post will trigger, it will fetch the data from the database, and it will trigger the load post action. So same thing is happening here. Load post action is get triggered, and another also load comment action is also triggered for loading the comment. If you see in my page, for vacation we have 2 comments, for alien we have 1. We have not provided the comment yet, but it is fetching the comment from the database. So for that we have a load comment action. We'll see that in a bit. So this load comment action also we are calling from this component did mount function. This is the start loading component. That's why on page reload we have loading post action is triggered and load comment action are triggered. Both of them are triggered. Before this we have init action. This is by default, it is get triggered for initializing our store with the initialized value. If you see when this action is triggered, our post array is empty and comment is also an empty object. Why it is? Because if you go to the reducer, when our page load for the post state is equal to underscore post. This underscore post we are importing from data slash post file. So here this is the file. Okay. So earlier, like up to day 4, it has some hard-coded data. Now it's an empty array. That's why when our page load, the post state is an empty array. That's why it's an empty array. Similarly, when the page load, our comment state is having a initialized with an empty object. That's why we are getting an empty object. But when the load post action get triggered, it's triggered on page load in the component did mount of main.js file. This start loading post. When it is triggered, it updates our post state. It will fetch the data from the database and it will update our post state. If you see now, the post state is having 3 values because we have 3 data in the database, but the comment state is still empty. And in the component did mount, we have also loading comment action is written. So this also get fired on page load. It will dispatch a load comment. This will update our comment state. If you see, now the comment state has having some values. For photo ID we have only 1 comment. For photo ID this one we have 2 comments. For vacation we have 2 comments, and for alien we have alien post we have 1 comment. That's it. Okay, and these comments are getting fetched and it is reflecting here. Now we will see how this load comment is triggered and how we are fetching the comment from the database. Okay, for that we have to go to the, so if you see in the main.js file we have start loading component action which is being called here. So we'll go to this, copy this, let's search in the action.js file. Okay, this is the start loading component. It's same, it's a function having it's written a arrow function having a dispatch parameter. Then we are doing the ajax call dispatch.ref comment, because now we want to update we want to fetch the data under the comment node. That's why in the ref we have to provide comments, the name of the node. And once is for, as you know, once is for used for fetching the data from the database in the Firebase. You have to fetch the values. When it is executed successfully, then method will be called. Then same story repeat as in the post case snapshot. So we'll get the snapshot means all these child node in these two child node under the comment node. So it's an array, right? So the snapshot, we are iterating through the snapshot, and iterating we are getting a child snapshot. And if you see, these are the child snapshot. This is having ID as this one and value as comment, which is an array. Okay, so we have comment state is an object in which property is the ID and value is the array of comments. So we have created an empty object, then comment child snapshot.key. Child snapshot.key gives these values and these values. Okay. So if you see, now the comment is having a key of corresponding to the photo ID. Then child snapshot.val, this value function will give this array of comments within this key. Okay, and this, if you see, this array having some, it's also in the form of a object key value pair, but we need only these values. So retrieving this from the array of object, we have to do only retrieving values. We have to do object.values. Then we are providing the array of object. It will retrieve all the values in the array. So now for a key, now we have an array of comments. Once we get this object populated, we have to dispatch our load comment to update our store. So initially our store is having, for this initially in the store, the comment state is an empty object. Now we have to, once we fetch the data from the database, we have to update our comments. Load comments is an action which we have newly created, in which we are passing the comment object. We will see this load comment. This is the load comment. It's written an object in an action having type load comment. Then we have the payload is comments, the object that has been created using the database data. We'll go to the reducer. For the comment state, here it will match the case statement, and we are returning the action.comment. So this will update our store with the new comments. Okay, this is how we are updating, but we need to call this start loading comment somewhere in the database, right? So we are calling this in the component did mount. This is the start loading component comments. Okay, so that's why on page load these two actions are being called. Okay, so once this action is called, then our store get updated with the database post array, and once this is called, our store get updated with the comment object, which is in sync with the database. So once we get all this data, we have to pass that in the form of a probe. Okay, once our state get updated, our store get updated, we have to pass that state from the store to the components to work with the data. The next thing to know, the same as we have followed up to day 4. So we'll see how, like here I have one state, so one comment, let's click on that. Okay, here we'll see if you see up to in the alien we have only one comment. We'll add one more comment. So if we add one more comment, let's suppose hashtag, what we can add, surprise to see alien. Okay, so let's enter. Once we entered, it will get added to our, see, once we enter, our add comment action get triggered. Now it will update our comment state for the alien. So alien was having earlier having only one entry, now it is having second entry in the array. Okay, so how we are triggering this add comment? So we are triggering in the component in the comment section. If you go to the comment component, so in the comment component, let's revisit. So this is also we have created in day 4. There is a form in which we have a comment input field having a submit button which is hidden. That's why on click of enter, this on submit get called, this method is get called. This method we are fetching the whatever the user has entered for the comment. Then we are calling, here is the main thing. We are calling start adding comment action in which we are passing the user entered comment and the ID of the photo for which user has entered the comment. That also needed because we need to place this comment with the corresponding photo ID. Okay, so we'll go to this action, start adding comment. Here it takes a comment and the post ID, 2 parameters. It's returning same thing. It is returning a arrow function having a dispatch parameter. We are doing the database operation, database.ref, then comment, then we'll go to the, so here we are now we'll store some data related to the within the comment corresponding to this ID, photo ID. So we have to go to the comment, we have to travel to the comment, then to the ID, then only we can able to store it. So we are going comment / post ID. Then so this ID, here we are storing an array of comments. That's why we have to use dot push then the comment, the user entered comment. So what it will do, it will push the data into the database, and these are the key which is means randomly created by the Firebase automatically. We don't have to take care of this key. It will push the comment, then if you get success, then block get executed. In the then block we have a dispatch method in which we are triggering the add comment action. This is the add comment action that we have created in our day 4 video. We'll go to the add comment. So it's a action in which the type is add comment and there are 2 payloads, comment and post ID. So that will add the comment to the corresponding post ID. So this is needed for updating the store. Next we will go to the reducer. This also we have written earlier in the day 4. So this case statement will get matched, and here we are checking if for that. So here the state is an object in which the ID is the post ID. We are checking state action.post ID. It will give the comment array. If this array is undefined, then what we have to do, we have to add an array. If it is not undefined, then else block will be added. Then we have to add a new data to that corresponding array. So this is all we have covered in day 4. That's why not covering that much. So the only change in comment.js file is earlier we have written props.add comment because there we don't have any database. At that time we need to only update with the store. So the disadvantage of updating only store is like if you refresh the page, whatever you have updated in the store, whatever we have stored in the store, everything get lost. That's why we need the database. So as earlier we have stored, that's why we are calling the action directly. But now we have database, So that's why we have to call this function. It will trigger this add comment action. Okay, and this line, once you add the comment, we need to empty the text field for the comment, this one. Okay, then what important is, okay, so we have covered almost everything. So only one thing that I told you to cover here later. So this one, while calling the start loading post, it is used for fetching the post data from the database and updating the post state in the store. We have to subscribe to that promise by using the then function. In the then function, we are updating the set state, in which we are changing the loading state to false. Earlier, the loading state is true. See, we are using Redux and we are doing the state management in the store. But there are some states which we don't need to be done through the Redux, which is not needed to be done through the Redux. Means the state for which the lifetime is very less. Like this loading. This loading is needed for the loader concept. Like till my data gets fetched from database, I want to show the loader. Once my data gets successfully fetched from the database, then I need to disable this loader. So this is having a very less lifetime. That's why we'll change the state in the component itself. No need of Redux for that. So that's why I have declared a state having a property loading as true. Then we are changing the state loading to false when this get executed successfully. This get executed successfully means we successfully fetched the post array from the database and we successfully trigger the add post action, the load post action for loading the post array to the store. If everything gets completed, it means our data gets successfully fetched and our store get updated successfully. Then we have to disable the loader. This is needed. Okay. So this loading state we need to pass here for the single component. For the photo wall, it is not needed. For the add photo, for the photo wall, why it is not needed? Because it is connected to the main page. And for the add photo, why it is not needed? Here in the add photo, we are not dealing with any post array or comment array. That is only a for. So there it is not needed. But in the single component, we are dealing with the post array. Because in the single component, we are retrieving the post corresponding to the ID whichever user has clicked, and that post gets rendered in the browser with a comment section. So here we are dealing with that array of posts, that array of objects. That's why we need a loader here. So we are passing the state loading. So in single.js file, what we are doing here, a normal if else statement we have written. If this.probe.loading is true, means the database has not fetched from the database. Data has not been fetched from the database yet. Still it is doing the database operation. Still it is fetching the data from the database. If the data has not fetched yet, we need to show the loader. We are returning a div class having a class name as loader. So it's now we have provided some normal CSS. We'll see that CSS also, so that everyone else will be in the same page. This is the loader. These are the some of the CSS. All I guess you know. Align item justify content center for showing the loader at the center of our page. We have given some height, width, then display flex is given for these two to work. Position is fixed so that the loader won't be scrolled while scrolling our page, and font size we have given. So all this you are all familiar with, I believe. Okay. So we are returning a loader here if data has not fetched yet. If data has fetched, and here in the const post which we are what we are doing, we are iterating to the through the post array and the ID corresponding to the ID in the URL. We are retrieving the post object here. So we have another if statement. If that post which I have retrieved here, that is not undefined, then only we have to show the post component as well as the comment component. Then if the post does not exist, or if you have removed that post, then we have to show no post found. So it's an if else statement we have provided. Here it's also a minor change in the single component. Okay. So up to this we have covered the entire concept on Firebase and Redux, how we can connect our application to the Firebase, how we can fetch the data, what is the use of Redux term, and the only step to remember here is first we need to do the database operation. Once it gets successfully done, then in the then block we have to trigger the actual action for updating our store. So first we need to update database, then to the store. Because if you won't use the database, if you use only the store, if a user gets refreshed its page, then always whatever the data stored in the store get empty or get initialized to the initial value. That's what we don't want. We need our data to persist even if user is refreshing our page. Okay, and we need the loader. It's for CR. If the data has not fetched yet, then we need to show a loader. Otherwise, if you want to show this loader and we are passing these props here, it will show an undefined array because the data has not fetched yet, but still we are passing the props. So loader concept is also important. So thank you guys for watching. I have covered all the concept on Redux, and I will upload also some of the less important concepts are left for the Redux. That also we will cover up. We will cover everything. But up to this we have covered all the major and the important concepts. Now if you have followed all my videos, I guess everyone have gained a lot of confidence to work in the well-done project. Please comment in my comment section and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. Bye.